Any questions about kind of how we envision the organization of the group? And I guess if that doesn't make sense, raise your hand and be glad to chat more about that. All right, seeing none, we'll keep rolling. I think this is where I turn it over to Cello. So Cello, take it away. So you don't have to listen to me the whole time. This is where we can kind of get into some group participation and get things going.
Hi, thank you, Dan. And we have a Mentimeter poll. So if you can get there in two different ways. One is you could scan the QR code, or you could just go on your computer in a different window from Teams to this website menti.com and enter the code. So let me know. Let me know when you are there. Okay, we have one person.
What I'll do is, I'm in.
Yeah, and I have I will move the Mentimeter window here so you can see the results of your inputs. I'll just wait till a few more people join. Again, you see the information to log in here. Sorry about just adjusting the size. So 3 people, okay, a few more folks. We get it. For those folks who may have problems with accessing, let me just ignore the first link, which is the SurveyMonkey. The second link that I just sent is a direct link to Mentimeter. So if you click on what's in your chat line, the last thing I sent out, you click on that. We have 6 people so far. You will be directly into the Mentimeter thing. I was getting ahead of myself with the SurveyMonkey thing. So we have 7. And so that's the easiest way to just click on the whatever's in it. So I will go to the first. I'll go to the first question, and you should see it on your side like this. So what you can do is respond to these are the pain points that have been people who responded to the survey said that these are the pain points in CIP planning and delivery that they have. And we just wanted to see how the feedback that we've already received resonates with people who are on the call today. Maybe some of you, I know that some of you didn't have a chance to do the survey. So you can just mark the between not important and critically important. I don't see anybody answering the questions yet, but we'll just wait. Oh yeah, we have at least the first 2 people in. So you can see on the screen that I'm sharing what people see as important, and we will save this result of the poll Mentimeter in our meeting minutes, just to kind of capture what people are most interested. What are the challenges that resonate with people? So I'll just wait another minute, perhaps. Yeah, we have 9 results so far. So, okay. Well, thank you for that input. And the next question we're going to try to is the continuation. There's only 2 pages. This is the same thing these are this is part 2 of 2 things that people indicated are important, pain points for them. So we're just trying to gauge of how broad that sense is, whether people, which of these things we need to consider if it's an important challenge for utilities. So let's just give it a minute. It'll also guide our work to, so that we can always come back to these things and say, are we addressing the pain points that people and again, this is feedback from the people who did fill out the survey so far. So, okay, I'll just wait for 3 more because it was 9 on the first question, and then we go to the next one. Okay, just another second. Okay, almost there. Okay, thank you for that. And this is first was challenges, and this is about goals. These are the same questions that are in the Survey Monkey. What would you like to accomplish for utility as part of this effort? Things that are more or less important or more important for you. And we don't have many. I think this may be the last one, or maybe just one more. So we're not going to dwell on this very long, but it's really useful to get some feedback. Takes a while it only registers when somebody does all the questions. So. Okay, they're rolling in. They didn't fit. Mentimeter has a limitation on how many questions you can put on a page, so I couldn't fit all the responses that people had on one page. We're almost there with 7. Let's give the last couple of people a chance, one more, and we move on. Okay. Okay, we got 9, and I think this is, there were some questions that the Monday morning is not optimal for people. So we offered 4 alternatives times. So just quickly, if we change from Monday, we got response back from the survey said, that Mondays and Fridays are really bad. So we proposed some, and you can just click on the things that are, I know you have really complex schedules and everything, but in the last year of UAM, we had 108 people participating in 6 initiatives. It is so difficult to schedule time that works for everybody. So any feedback that we can get in terms of what times work for people will be very useful. So we'll look at it later and see what how things are playing out, because when we send out a doodle poll, by the time the last person fills out, the first person who filled it out, their schedule changed already. So we'll just a couple
Hey,
more.
Cello, did this allow you to put in more than one answer or just
Yes, it
pick?
did. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Did anybody have a problem indicating more than one answer? No, I think that this is one more and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so people may be thinking about their calendars. So the last person will have a chance to add. It's just that I'm not going to show it. I'm going to put the PowerPoint presentation back. So these are the things that people mentioned in the survey so far. And give me just a second. If you'd like to do the survey after the meeting is done, because we're already halfway into it, I put it in the chat line again right now and sent it. You can add your own comments if you'd like about your pain points and what you'd like to accomplish. And that will give us a good roadmap for the challenges and goals. So we originally thought, we didn't know how much time we're going to be. We originally thought that people would fill out the survey immediately. The average time to fill out the survey was less than 2 minutes, but we can continue with the meeting, and you will have the link to the survey. If after the meeting you can fill it out, that'd be very helpful. We want to make sure that we address, get input from everybody. So just see. And again, on the right side is our improvement methodology. We're focused on business processes here, on the an assessment maturity analysis, designing the to-be process and state, and then implementing improvements. And we'll go to Getachew and see if he can share with us what they're doing at DC Water. Getachew?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a particular presentation, but I will speak of the previous presentation I did. So what we are trying to do is, like during the summer, there is a lot of people are going on vacation, and also we're working on, paying for 2021. So there are a lot of things going on, even though we continue to meet every other week. So what we are trying to do is here, let me start here. So we have updated the guide documents, but the tool has not been updated. So in the next month or so, we'll update the tool. And then in October, we'll have, if I go here, so we have complete the project. We have all these things undergoing, like, for example, we are preparing training materials. What we did is we have a human capital management, but there is a training department there. So we met a couple of times with them, trying to prepare training material for all our engineers. And the training materials will be prepared by professionals. We are planning to use Brown and Caldwell to help us with that effort. So I met with Brown and Caldwell a couple of weeks ago to talk about this project, and I've shared with them all the important information we have so that they can familiarize themselves. So this week we are going to TriCon. There is a local conference in Ocean City. Then I will meet with them with our human capital management department next week when I return. And at that meeting, we'll talk about the nuances of how it's going to look like. The first one is, so we'll have a rollout program. So there is an outreach program or rollout program, which will be maybe a one hour meeting where we talk about what we did so far. so that all engineers and operators and other support departments are aware of what we've been doing over the last couple of years. That will be
Getachew?
one. Yes.
Getachew, this is Scott. For new people to this call, maybe they weren't aware that last year you spent a ton of time internally developing your processes, engaging people, and went through the overall approach, and you documented it and so forth. And so what you're describing here is what new are you planning to do this year in terms of enhancing what you have, right?
Yes. So what we did, thank you, Scott. So what we did is, here are some of our, few of our models, so process models. We developed these process models. This process model, in general, our CIP business case evaluation process has two forms. One is a short form and the other one is a long form. The short form is what we call a CIP validation. So we have had, we've been doing CIP validation for many years. Now we found out that, if you are not going to go to full business case evaluation, then we have to tweak the current valid project validation form so that certain aspects of it, of the BCE, are included in there. Because that is going to be like the first input to, if you are going to do a BCE, that's going to be like here, I think you see here, this is the first input. It says modified delivery plan of current CIP projects, validation form there. So we have that. And now when we go to complete BCE, before we do a BCE, we develop the criteria that says, okay, what projects are we going to do BCE for? And which projects are do not qualify for a BCE? So we have developed that criteria. So that's already in our guide document, but it's not in our tool. So one of the things we plan to do is make it improve our tool. I've already started working with one of consultants we have to help me with revising the tool, the BCE tool. So, and while we do that, one of the things we plan to do is, instead of having one process for CIP validation and one process or one tool for BCE, we are going to merge the two. And this guy developed the CIP validation tool. So this one was, the BCE tool was developed by CH2. So now we are going to update it based on these recommended changes. So we are going to have one tool that's every project is going to use. So if there is a need for a BCE, it goes to the normal BCE process. If there is no need to BCE, then it goes to the validation form and we complete the form as required. So during the training, this is going to be very helpful, because we who are in planning, and some people like Duncan and Kathleen, they are aware of the CIP planning process. Sorry, but most of our operators and engineers, they don't know the CIP planning process, and it's very, very important that they know. So what we are planning to do is, once we have the rollout or the outreach, then we'll have a training. That training is going to have two parts. The first part is to introduce them to the pure BCE process concept and introduce them with the DC Water's BCE process. And then we will give them an assignment and we'll create groups, and then we'll give them assignment, and then we'll give them a couple of weeks so that they use the tools, the artifacts in general that we have, and so that they can do business case evaluation for that particular project. And then when we meet back again after a couple of weeks, then we'll evaluate and do the business case evaluation together. So this is going to help us a lot, because one, the business case guideline is going to be used by them, and they will tell us if there is any problem or if they have any issue that they come across while using it. And two, the tool itself, is it working well? Are they happy with how they used it? If not, then they will tell us and then we'll update it. And then finally, after we did that and we got inputs from others, then we'll finalize the business case evaluation process as well as the artifacts and conclude this project. That's what we are planning to do. And then I think the next step is, how can we use a business case evaluation and CIP planning process in future projects consistently? That will be one of the things we plan to do next. Also, how can we integrate it so that everybody now they are aware, they know how it's done and how beneficial it is. Then we just encourage them to use it by making it part of the whole process. It is part of the process, but all engineering folks are aware, are using it, but others may not be aware and may not be using it. So that's the ultimate goal of this initiative. So we plan to complete this before the end of the year, unless something happens. So the trainings, the outreach is going to happen in October. If not, latest in November. So that's where we are.
All right, very good. Thanks, Gitachi. Sounds like you guys have a busy year planned out. So that's awesome. So, but yeah, Gitachi, like I said earlier, with DC Water is focused on the CIP planning area for the CIP team, and they've been doing this for a while. Large organization and have developed a pretty mature business model and are continuing to work on it and update it. And I wanted to say that because here at KC Water, when we started, it kind of felt, it's like, wow, these people are doing some amazing things. I'm not sure if we can do that. And the thing here is we're not comparing with one another. We're starting like right where we're at. So wherever you're at, just start there, and there's opportunity to get engaged and to make improvement no matter where you are. And we started out last year, we had no business process models. And by the time we got to the end of the year, I'm going to share my screen here and share what we're going to do this year. We're going to focus on CIP delivery. So we kind of took a big bite out of the apple and said, you know what, we just need to get our processes documented and create the business process models for both CIP planning and delivery. And then we also wanted to make it accessible for our people. So we've posted them on a SharePoint site that actually Zach, who's on the call, has been instrumental in creating. We're continuing to develop this. We haven't quite made the full rollout yet, and so we're still working on that piece of it. But here's what our current business process model looks like in a collapsed form, and we've got 3 lanes on it. We've got CIP planning across the top, and Scott Parker, our asset manager from our organization, worked on developing this last year as part of UAIM WISE, and he's going to continue to validate that this year as part of our annual CIP planning process. We implemented a BCE form as well. And then the bottom 2 lanes are our CIP delivery, starting with procurement of design professional services for pre-design and design. And that's what this blue lane looks like. And then the bottom lane is the construction phase. So bidding. So typically we do design, bid, build. So we created our process around that. We do also do alternative delivery, but we wanted to start with what is more typical for our organization. And then goes all the way through project closeout or close the project. So we've gone through and developed more detailed charts for each of these, and we've identified with our staff that where we really need to focus our attention is on the completion of construction through project closeout. And so this is what the detailed business process model that we've developed for construction looks like. And we really want to focus on, when you get to substantial completion on a project, all the steps that entails, stage review at the end of construction, and then rolling into project closeout and all the things that need to happen there. And so we've got challenges with closing contracts and final payment, and then also with getting our as-built and GIS information as well as asset data into our systems of record. And so we've decided for this year that now that we've got the process models developed and they're at least drafted, these are the two areas we want to focus on for WISE for this year. So Zach and I are really going to work with our staff to review these, to update them, to build a little more detail into them, to really help our project delivery folks, in-house staff, as well as being able to communicate to our outside contractors so that we can improve that process, getting to final payment efficiently, and then also getting all of the data that we need for our systems of record. So that was my quick hit of what we're going to tackle this year. So again, for the new folks, we started last year really at ground zero, didn't have any of these business process models. We were able to develop those at least to get to a base level as is process by the end of last year. And now we're taking that and seeing how we can continue to use it to actually go through more of the implementation and improvement part of the improvement cycle. So that's my update. And so that kind of gives you a feel for both sides, CIP planning as well as CIP delivery. And we wanted to leave a little bit of time. Is there anybody else on the call that's like, hey, we've already identified our improvement initiative and this is what we're going to do? Left a couple of minutes for anybody that has that figured out. But if not, it's okay. We got plans to cover that in a future call. All right, I don't see any hands, but just want to leave space just in case somebody was fired up and saying, hey, we got ours figured out. We know what we want to do. But that's okay if you don't, because that's what the point of this call is to get started. And the slide that Cello's got up on the screen really shows this is just kind of a proposed how we see this playing out, kind of how it played out last year. So each utility is going to work individually on your own improvement effort. So wherever you're at, whatever it is you're wanting to do with CIP delivery or CIP planning and delivery, that's the first step. Identify what do you want to tackle this year, and again, be realistic about what you can achieve. Even if you don't get to the finish line by the end of next year, if you make progress, that's a good thing, and it'll set you up for the next year, because the plan is to keep the WISE thing going as long as folks want to do it. So this is what Cello had kind of put together to help us. What do we do next? Identify what you want to tackle, select a business process, and then lay out a schedule. And depending on how complex and how much you bite off, you could take 3 months to develop your as-is process and possibly even design a 2B model for your business process model and get through those steps. Take the next 3 months to develop an improvement plan, change management strategy, identify some success targets, and then take the last 6 months to really execute that improvement plan, document the results, and get it implemented. And like I say, again, for us last year, we really kind of did that those first items that are in that 3 month. That took us about 12 months to get that piece done, because we just took the whole process and got it all laid out. So, this isn't, you don't have to do it exactly like this, but this kind of gives you an idea of how you could progress through the improvement process as part of this team, and how you could lay out, a schedule for what you want to accomplish.
Dan, Cello has his hand raised.
Yeah, Cello.
I want to let especially the new folks know that we're here to help out. The project team between Mike Barnett and Scott and I. So we're happy to work with you. One of the values of the project is also peer-to-peer collaboration, which means that you can call Dan or somebody else, or that you connect to in one of these meetings. So it's all really about making things better in each of the utilities and doing it collaboratively. So so for the next step, a couple of weeks, ideas are, think about what you'd like to accomplish. Dan, well, it's true that it took them a bit longer, but they took a much bigger bite. So they worked out a larger model and then focused on a smaller area. So it's you can select a part of the overall. I think it's 9 stages. Dan, is it 9 stages, the whole thing?
I think we added a couple of steps in there for ours. I think ours is 10 stages, but yeah, there's an industry-wide template for CIP planning and delivery that was developed that we started from.
Yeah,
was the input from this group that I think, is that.
Scott, you have your hand up. Scott, you have your hand up.
I did. I know that there's a few people interested in stage gate processes, and you did that, Dan. So this is, and so did Getachew. So this all assumes a stage gate process throughout. But what I was just going to mention is that what you talked about, Dan, was the individual utility efforts that, to be undertaken by those that want to do case studies and develop an improvement area. But it's also true that there's going to be an opportunity for some sharing of your work efforts with this team. So you can get feedback from others, and you're going to have an opportunity to to do that sharing as part of the calls that would happen, or workshops.
So this is, I think, Dan, this is what we wanted to cover, and then we have a few minutes for open discussion if somebody wants to bring up a concern or a question.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this was our proposed, hey, let's give folks kind of something to act on. So just really answer that question in the next 2 weeks. What do you want to accomplish? And also think about like what level of participation you want to engage in with the group. I would say too, don't be intimidated if you're like, oh my gosh, because we're all busy, got a lot going on. If you're thinking, I'm not sure if I can take this on, I guess I'll just share from my experience. What I've learned is, this stuff really ties in with what I already do and what my responsibilities are at work. So if you can kind of link this to something that you're already trying to tackle, you're already trying to do, that's really the name of the game. That's what we're trying to do and how we want to support you. So yeah, if as you're thinking through things, that's kind of the other piece we want to know. Okay, yeah, we want to be on the core team and really tackle using this methodology and trying to implement an improvement or just document our processes. I think I'd want to just kind of participate and listen in and kind of leverage from the shared knowledge side of it. So that's kind of one piece, and then the other piece of what do you want to accomplish, and here's just kind of some ideas of how to think through that, and then we'll regroup again in mid-September, and we'll send out a follow-up email to kind of prompt people to do this, because there are some folks who weren't able to attend today, and work towards kind of putting together an agenda for the 13th.
Okay, I'm not sure what just happened. A bunch of people disappeared. Okay, Dan is trying to get admitted again. So sorry about that. There was Dan, what happened?
That was my cue. That was my cue that it's time to wrap up. So I'm going to stop talking, and we'll let other folks ask questions.
Final note is that this is the schedule for our workshop at WEFTEC. So if somebody is interested in coming, there may be a couple of changes to a couple of people may not be able to make WEFTEC, but if you're planning to go to WEFTEC, you might consider you might consider attending our workshop. And that's all I had. And Dan, back to you if
Yeah,
there's
it looks
any.
like we've got a few minutes before we wrap up. Any burning questions that folks want to ask? I hope we made some sense in terms of how we unpack things today.
It's a minor clarification, but you said the next meeting would be Monday, the 13th. Are you going to make that Tuesday or Thursday? And then you'll get that word out? Was that the intent?
We will, we will look at the responses, from the Mentimeter. I just want to make sure that because it's so difficult, it is so difficult to deal with these, the schedule. We did have some folks say, oh, Monday morning is really tough for us, but when you try to change a fixed meeting, it's not easy to find a new place. So I don't know yet how we'll do this. This has been a consistent challenge on these things, especially we have people on the Eastern time, on Pacific time. So we don't have like really 8 hours stretch, so we'll see. I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
Any other questions? And two, if there was anything that caught you, like Chelos, anything that caught your eye today that DC Water's working on? I know Gitachu's, loves talking about this stuff, and same here, KC Water. We'd be glad to chat with you more, in a separate call if that'd be beneficial. So